Let's have a conversation.
Thank you for having me on. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, and I'm sure I'll see you at one of these events again
all
soon.
time. We got Mark with the Mindful Reality podcast, who I've been a guest on, and it was a blast.
Thank you for having me, honestly, and I cannot wait to do it again. We're going to do this again in the future. I just know it.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Mindful Reality. Excuse my appearance. It's just because the same thing happened last Friday. I took a nap. That's the reason why instead of scheduling this for 7, I scheduled it for 10:45, and I happened to wake up 10 minutes ago. But I'm like, hey, this time I'm not late. So that's the reason why I told you guys it's going to be a short one. It's all fun and games until FBJ nominates Cerise. So for those who don't know, Bowie Jane made her nominees for eviction. And as expected, as we talked about earlier, the nominees are Felicia and Cerise. And from what a lot of people have said, the majority of the House does not want one of Felicia or Cerise to go. I think Bowie Jane herself is cool with that. Jag and Matt, as of like 2 minutes ago when I was just looking at the feed for a quick second, were saying that they want to convince Bowie Jane to put Cam up as a replacement nom if the veto gets used. And the Comerica side wants Blue and Cam. No. America said that she had wanted Blue or Cam to go up. So probably she would want Cam up as well. And Cam, obviously, he wants Corey to go up if there's a replacement nom used. So that's where we're at. The sides want to take shots at each other. We'll see. Hey, Cass. Every nom is always predictable. I don't think there's been a nom this season that I can think of where I thought that 2 people were going up and they didn't go up. Every nom that has happened has not really been a blindside. I think one of the few things that I can remember being orchestrated as a blindside was the backdoor of Heism. But in terms of the initial noms, I think that everybody always knew beforehand who was going up. 4 times on the block. I am the blockbuster. If you remember, Taylor said that last year. I'm the blockbuster. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, and set your notification bell. Welcome to our new family members. Bowie is not going to put up Cam. For sure, she's not putting up Cam. They're not going to convince her of that. I said that earlier. Blue is a possibility. I guess at least this means Cerise can finally... Oh, yeah, she's going to be in her first veto. Tomorrow is going to be day 67. And in day 67, Cerise is going to compete in her first veto. Come on and take that veto home, Cerise. Give him a change-up, a curveball. What I hate is the way that this group plans is they plan as if they plan based on probabilities and statistics. And this is exactly what Cameron was telling America when he was talking to her earlier about Corey. He was like, Corey is a statistic guy. The probability of this happening is this. The probability of this happening is this. So I'm going to plan based on the highest probability of whatever scenario that I'm going for. That's why I like people like Bowie winning, or I like people like Sari winning, or Felicia, or Blue, people that they don't factor in as possible threats, that suddenly pull off something that they didn't have on their chart of this is how the next 10 weeks is going to go. Hate it. Hate it. There have been a lot of eviction flips. I wouldn't say so. There have been a lot of eviction flip talks, but I don't think there have been a lot of actual eviction flips. There have been many crazy, irritating things said by these people. Luke said the N-word, Jag called Saria bully. Bowie saying she doesn't care about resume. That was one of the wildest. When Matt was telling Bowie, hey, I think that for your resume, it would be a good resume booster for you to take out Cam. And then Bowie was like, to be honest with you, I don't even care about my resume. I'm just trying to stay in this game as long as I can. So everyone else is like, oh, I'm thinking about endgame. And Bowie is like, I'm just thinking about tomorrow. And if I make it to the end and I don't win and I finish second, cool. Resume is not important to me. So that shows why she's been throwing everything. Do you think Felicia will survive the block again against Blue? Now, that's a good question. I think she would, actually, because I think that a lot of people are targeting Blue because of her affiliation with Cameron and because they think she's better at competitions than Felicia. So I think against Felicia, Blue might suffer a similar fate as Mimi, to be quite honest with you. Why would Bowie not put up Corey? Yeah, because Jag and Matt have been influential in her head by telling her that, hey, if Corey's in the game, he's the ultimate shield. But for some reason, they're telling her to throw her number one ally in there. They're not going to convince her to do that. Was really hoping that Felicia was going to win solely because they literally said there was no way Felicia was going to win a comp. I know, that would have been so funny. That would have been so funny. Yeah, but it's been working for Corey. He even stated he doesn't have to win HOH. But it's only because of the way the people in the house are playing. They're not playing smart. But yeah, I mean, it's been working for him somehow, but not because it's some smart strategy that he's using. If only Felicia had solved 60 times 60, we'd have so much more to talk about. You had one job, Felicia. That was disappointing because this was probably her last best chance, because the remaining comps from here on out, Zingbot, OTEV, like the competitions that they do in the last 5 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks, they're not typically like random things like that. Gonna have a girl who doesn't know what she's doing to be HOH. I don't like the way Jag and Matt are playing. Why did it go off? I don't like the way Jag and Matt are playing. They're way too passive and wanting other people to take shots. And what are your thoughts on the fugitives? The fugitives are not legit, because if they were legit, how are you going to be talking a few days ago or maybe last week about that name was just in my head. What is that group called with Enzo in it? I forgot the name. For some reason, I can't think of the name right now. But how are you going to be comparing yourself to that group, and then not that long later, you're trying to take shots at supposedly the leader of that group? they were never really with him. They were just using Cam to an extent. And I think Cam is legitimately like, I need y'all because I don't know why it's not putting up your comment. Whoa. This thing just froze on me. And then when it unfroze, there was a whole bunch of comments. We have had way too many mental comps. I kind of feel so. I feel so, Betty. I feel so. I kind of feel like Blue is in the same situation as her. I mean, Blue is doing more to win, but I think in terms of thinking of why Blue entered the game, I think it's for similar reasons as Bowie. I wouldn't have even been mad at a Korea America win if they targeted Cam. But they were talking about targeting Blue, but I guess you don't actually know until they're in that seat. Someone said Bowie went to Target one day and accidentally. I wouldn't be surprised with Bowie. Because it seems like Bowie does a lot of things outside of Big Brother. So it didn't seem like Big Brother was ever her end game like that. She's probably surprised she's still there. The Brigade, thank you. I couldn't think of that for some reason. Brigade, thank y'all. Yeah, 1 minute he's comparing himself to the Brigade. He's comparing the three of them and Blue as the Brigade. And now they want Cam and Blue out. So Brigade 2.0 didn't last very long. I can't wait until the slip and slide competition. Cam will probably win that if he's still there. You and me both wash Washington. Cam really was a zombie. He came back with his brain not working right. This was so annoying to me earlier when I was watching Cam have this conversation with America. And I've seen him have this conversation with her several times over the last week. Basically being like, you and Corey vote the same. You and Corey share information, pillow talking. You and Corey are viewed as a dangerous threat because of your showmance. This is the path that you chose, and you two have targets on your back. Cool, you can tell her all of that. But the reason it annoys me the most is because you had HOH and power of veto. And instead of making that choice where you could have guaranteed one of those two went home or made it most likely, if you had sat Corey up there next to Felicia instead of Mimi, Corey probably would have went home. But instead of you doing that, you're going to let Jag talk you out of what you want to do. And then you're going to try to convince Mimi to do it, and Mimi's not doing it. Well, I shouldn't say she's not doing it. I just don't think that she will. Ma, how do you know my last name? You think Bowie will tell Cam that Matt and Jag are wanting him out? She should. Is Washington actually your last name? Or is Wash Washington? I literally only said that as a joke, man. That's hilarious. Is Blue and Cameron getting close? I guess it's not far-fetched that it's your last name. I mean, the only other thing that makes sense is that you like to wash things. Cam's big move got out Mimi. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. You know, I need to get that clip of Mimi saying, Jesus, you were way too stingy with the common sense.
What sense does that make? The math is not mathing.
I wish Cameron was still evicted. Him and Jared should both be gone. The math ain't math in. So I guess Saturday at some point is the veto comp. I think it's usually sometime in the early afternoon, if I'm not mistaken. The year of the floaters continues. The year of the floaters continues.
It's like, this is all way too much. It's so stupid.
And I think there's not too much else to talk about, honestly. No, Mod said you got to keep the streak alive, but the streak was already alive before this one. This one was just because I promised it, because I was already on here twice today, and my streak of 66 days of Big Brother coverage lived on since the one that I did this morning. My streak is only 1 day of coverage because I already lost my streak of 2 days. Ended, I think, earlier this week or late last week. I can't remember now, but I would say out of the 66 days, I've probably gone live twice a day, maybe like 2/3 of the days. It hasn't been every day. Ma, is your last name has been deleted. I hope Sari wins and shakes up the house. I would like that because I'm so tired of them talking about everything so matter of fact. I'm already sad that my plans got canceled and I can't see my mom tomorrow. That sucks. So on your birth certificate, it says Ma is hold on. Ma is angry. And then your last name been deleted yet on your birth certificate. I'm a genius. For the first time this season, I will watch a Sunday episode to see Sari win a veto. I absolutely watched the challenge. I absolutely watched the challenge. Josh, for those of you who've been watching Challenge USA, I think Josh has been on the challenge 5 times now, if I'm not mistaken. And this man makes no sense because he says, oh, I was known for banging pots and causing trouble and chaos on Big Brother, whatever. You do less of it on the challenge, but you still do it. And he was like, oh, he was talking to Corey Fessy and who else was he talking to? Corey Fessy, Johnny Bananas. It might have just been those 3. Maybe one other person was there, and he was like, I can't believe all of us are still here and it's so late in the game. This is the latest I've ever been on the challenge, right? So then he was like, we got to throw in whatever guy that he suggested. And they were like, why would you make it a guy's day? Because that means one of us would have to go in against that guy. But either way, it didn't matter because it was a moot point. He was the person that Chris selected to go into the elimination. And he didn't get picked out of the hopper. So he got to get out without having to go in. And Cassidy went in there. And Cassidy, just like Chris, has been an elimination killer. So it's been pretty good. I've just been upset since my guy Wes got taken out. I stand for Wes. Cam told Bowie, I want Corey out on the live feeds. Yeah, Cam has been telling Bowie that. Just like Jag and Matt have been saying they want Cam out. My birth certificate says Ma is. I don't skip episodes intentionally. Yeah, I watch all of them. But that's partially because I cover the show, so I kind of have to watch all of them. Even though there's people who do coverage that don't watch, but I like to be thorough. Who do you want to win BB season? I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't mind Matt winning. Matt or Sari? Yo, he was talking about even if I don't go in this time, I'll volunteer to go in just so that I can take Chris out. And I'm like, this is the reason why you haven't made it far in the game. You're going to play well enough socially all game to never have to see an elimination. And then arguably maybe a week before the final, you're going to talk about volunteering just to get revenge on the guy? You're wild. I'm still upset that Josh won Big Brother. I want Zingbot to win this season for real, for real. How do you do coverage if you don't? Plenty of people do coverage without watching, believe it or not. They do coverage based on going on Twitter, watching the clips that people put on Twitter, listening to the fan updates that the fans give them, and looking at the written recaps. There's plenty of pages, and nobody has come right out and said, I don't watch the feeds, but I can personally tell when I watch a page that does recaps without watching what they're talking about. I mean, there is like the winner circle. Derek and Cody admit they don't watch the live feeds. Big Brother Boy, who used to be on the live feeds like as much, if not more than I am, said that because of his school obligations, he doesn't watch the live feeds. I think they watch the episodes, though, the actual episodes, but there's channels that clearly don't watch the show. Clearly. Oh, yeah. Definitely got to be hard, especially for the people who are like under 30. Because I think a Mimi and not a Mimi. I don't know why I said Mimi. Probably because I was thinking of her association with Felicia, but a Sari is what I was going to say, and a Felicia. They're closer to the era where they didn't use social media and they didn't have smartphones and everything. So I think they all should take another 100 days off. That's not going to happen, but I see your point. You watch Big Brother Boy, then I can go ahead and say that he was the one who said that Bowie wandered into Target. What does that mean? And I guess you haven't been on here those few times when I talked about how Big Brother Boy was one of the main reasons why I started this channel. Not because I have a personal relationship with him, but because that was one of the first Big Brother channels that I used to watch last year. And it impressed me more than a Winner Circle because that's two people who played on the show before. Rob has a podcast because he was on Survivor before. Whatever else is out there. I know there's a few. There's TV Talks with Tom. There's like a few others, retro. Like there's some channels that cover Big Brother that did not have the benefit of being some kind of show star and whatever. So I'm not saying that. But in terms of the biggest channel that I know of the average person, and I don't even mean that in some kind of insulting way because I consider myself the average person as well. So what I mean by that is I saw other channels that were really produced They had like sound studios and backdrops, and the quality of their stuff was very high. The editing quality was so high. He would do the majority of the videos in his car, and the rest of them would be like at the cemetery, either outside at the cemetery or in his car at the cemetery. It was on his phone that he was recording these things. And right now, I think his channel has about maybe 13,000 subscribers. And I think the beginning of this season, he might have had about 7,000 to 8,000. So he gained like 5,000, 6,000 so far during this season. And I watched him gain a few thousand last season on his channel. So I was like, if he can do it, I could do it. So I actually made a comment on his page one day. Where I literally said that to him. I was like, you know what? Your page inspires me, and I actually want to start a Big Brother page. And he did something simple. He liked the comment, and he said, go for it, man. That was it. I think either the same day or the next day, I made my first vlog. Kept going from there. I think what I'm saying is accurate, because I have seen him say sometimes he's able to watch the live feeds, and sometimes he says, I wasn't able to catch up with the live feeds, so I watched recaps. But he'll tell you whichever the case is. He's pretty honest about that. I meant he said that Bowie was going to target and was wandering into Big Brother sounds. Oh, I saw that comment and I read that comment. Only 4 Big Brother recap channels I still keep up with is you, Cliff Hogg, Matt, and Jess. I think I saw Matt and Jess the other day. Is that a couple? I don't know if they're a couple, but I assume they're a couple. And I actually watch Big Brother Boy in the shower, if you can believe that. Breaking news. He's funny, though. He's hilariously funny. I have watched Jolene before. I'll be honest with you guys. Maybe it's just a personal bias of mine, and it is nothing against those channels. But there are certain Big Brother channels that I don't follow and I don't watch, just because I pay a lot of attention to how the channels get started. And I pay a lot of attention to what it took for them to get where they are. And I tend to throw my support behind the channels that have a more similar storyline and trajectory as mine. No offense to any of the other channels, but that's just how I do. It's almost like in my community, I support small businesses. It's the same thing. I saw that. And I saw that he shouted him out for... I saw the whole video that he made about that. That's pretty cool. She said, I'm not being carried. Ha! Bowie said that? Funny. You should watch one of his early lives from early August, because he said the words Ma is the best. Who said that? Big Brother Boy? That's funny. That's interesting. That's funny when Corey told Felicia, do you want to play pool? And she said, I don't play pool. Another channel. I've watched Ori's streams, actually. That was another one of the first channels that I started watching last year when I was watching these more. Now, I mean, obviously, you guys see me on here 2 to 3 hours a day. So imagine I'm on here 2-3 hours a day, and then I'm spending 4, 5, 6 hours watching podcasts. I just don't do that anymore in general. So if I tell you that I caught Rob has a podcast, it means I caught like 20 to 30 minutes of one of their hour something updates. If Big Brother Boy is the only one that I watch in total because he doesn't make hour videos. So if he has like a 12-minute video that he uploaded, I'll catch that. I only watch Rob Has a Podcast and you. Both scripted and unscripted. I used to actually, so I don't know if you guys saw that clip that I put up of a little bit of the advice Rob Has a Podcast was giving me, but a couple of things that he said, it was pretty cool and validating because they're things that I already do, which is that he told me, he was like, one thing is be enthusiastic about what you're covering because the audience can tell whether you are enthusiastic or not. And he was like, be engaged with your audience. He said, I consider it like I'm throwing the football to them and they're throwing it back to me. And what was the other thing? Well, I think the thing he was emphasizing the most was the engagement piece. Yeah. I'm not reading that comment, YTC. The answer is no, and I don't reference that channel on my page. Rob Has a Podcast, has too many people. So that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing I think about with my channel. I think about the fact that at 675 subscribers, I think it is now, and between like 20 to 40 people on my nightly chats, I have the ability to answer all of you guys. I don't get every single comment, like 100% of every single comment, right? But I get most of them. So I like being able to do that. So I struggle with, I would love to have 100 and something thousand subscribers like he does, but I feel like it would also lose something. YTC, it's not your fault. And it's also not just the horrible opinions. It's that certain channels sent people to my channel before to put all their toxic stuff in my comments. So I refuse to reference them again. It has nothing to do with you. Yeah, and I see your comments, Ma. I'm not even gonna put those up, but yeah, there's truth to that. I even got personal correspondences from people, and I was featured on the channel for nothing. Hey, check this guy out. Who is he? I'm seeing my face on this other channel, and I'm like, we've never even interacted. This is weird. I just stay in my lane. If I call it a page, it's because either they have supported me for some reason or they've never done anything against me or my page, even if it's not somebody who's aware of who I am. But pages that I actively know just do not support me, I will never give them any kind of shine on my page. That's that. But yeah, I do. Let me see. I listen to Rob Has a Podcast. I chat here for that very reason. I understand. So it's like you get two things fulfilled. You get Rob Has a Podcast, who has an extremely detailed. This is the thing that I will give the channel, not necessarily Rob himself, because as far as Big Brother is concerned, that's Tehran's thing. But in terms of the channel as a whole, you know that every day you can go on that channel, and if you happen to miss the feeds, you're going to get an extremely detailed breakdown of everything that happened on the feeds, to the point where you don't even have to watch the feeds for that day if you missed it. If you have the hour and change to sit there and listen to the whole thing, you're good money with that. But when you want to interact and have someone look at your comments, read them, and acknowledge you personally, that's not going to happen on, probably not on any channel with 100,000 plus subscribers. And that's not their fault. It's just a big platform. You can imagine that what feels surreal, Ma. If you, so y'all who are interested, I go on my community link and follow my Discord, because I'll tell you more about what I'm talking about via my Discord. I just won't really go into those details on YouTube. Some of y'all already know about everything that I'm saying. This is not new to everybody, but it might be new to a lot of y'all on here. Oh, it's crazy, Ma. This is about, probably about, let me see. I started August, September, October. This might have been about 2 months after I started using my other page for Big Brother. 2 months. So I was like, what in the world could I have possibly done in 2 months to have somebody hop on a live and talk about me for like 2 hours on a live? But then doing some further like research, I realized I don't even think that had a major amount to do with me. I think that some people grow their content in different ways than others. And here's another thing. And this is not just referring to one channel. This is referring to many channels. Big Brother is only 3 months out of the year. So some people cover Big Brother 12 months out of the year. So when Big Brother is not on, and the only thing that they're covering is Big Brother, they don't have show content to cover all year. People are not interested in look backs at other seasons all the time, or, you know, different stuff that's going on, or just rehashing what happened in that most present season. So then they're like, okay, let me go with the other podcasters. Let me go with the other vloggers. Let me argue with them for the views. Let me dig into things that are happening outside of Big Brother with the house guests. Let's find out about this lawsuit. Let's find out about this relationship, whether it's failing or whether it's succeeding. Let's find out about all the tea. I get it. You know what I mean? It's not for me to do, because I always say Big Brother is something that is relevant to me from the day they walk into the house to the day they leave the house. Maybe the first month they leave the house. I'm really interested to see what are they doing when they leave, what showmances stuck together, which ones ended, which relationships were mended, which ones, you know. But after a while, I'm like, okay, on to the next thing. He is definitely a storyteller. Even when he reads the quotes and everything, he describes it in a way that makes you feel like you were in the room. He'll be like, all right, on to my next note. Felicia was talking to Sari, and Felicia said, girl, da, 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 da. Like, he describes it, and he makes like these voices, and it's excellent. It's excellent. I watched some Big Brother Boy, but I get all the BBT from your channel. Watch the feeds and eviction nights. Big Brother Boy last year, I don't know if it's just me, but I think when he had more time, I liked it a little bit more than this year. And it's not because it's not good. It's not because it's not him. It's just that he has less time. So he'll post a video that he recorded He's like, okay, I'm going out. So he'll make the recording. Let's say he'll make the recording at 8 o'clock in the morning. And then he'll set it to record at 1 p.m. or to go live at 1 p.m. And he'll be like, just letting y'all know, I recorded this at 8. So as of 8 a.m., this was current information, but it's posting at 1. And I know that I'm in kind of a unique position to be able to do this all day, especially because I have a work from home job. But yeah, that kind of changes things a little bit for me. This has become my primary BB channel. What about Big Brother Pop? I have never seen that one. I might check it out. Yeah, they will stalk former players' social media to milk content. They will stalk their family. They'll check out what their brother, sister, mother, father, cousin is doing, their uncle, their drunk uncle. Let's put this person's sibling to the forefront and put them on trial. That's TMZ. There's like TMZ Big Brother pages. Some people like that stuff, and they're not going to like my channel, but there's something for everybody. I'm not mad at it. Just leave me out of it. That's the only question. That's the only request that I ever have. Just don't include me. I'm not interested. The noms were, yeah, take a wild guess. I'll tell you though. Okay, let me see if y'all put it in the comments because I'm behind. Oh, you're still guessing, huh, Jacob? If I don't see the guess in here, then I'll tell you. Or in America, unfortunately, it's Sari and Felicia. Yep, Sari and Felicia. It's a job, tell you that. I can't tell you it's a good job. I can just tell you it's a job. It's something that has paid my bills from 2020 until now. Shout out to them for that. I can't tell you that I love the job. Everybody always says Big Brother is watching. Not Big Brother is in the show, but like Big Brother, Big Brother. And if they're watching my page, then they've just come to accept that I say what I want, because even though I've never referenced them specifically, I've given many opinions about my job. And if they're watching this, I guess thank you for not firing me. This is my main channel. Thank you. I appreciate that. The moms. I'm pretty sure Brittany Hoops' brother was accused. Hoops? Brittany Hoops? Are you talking about Brittany from BB23? If so, yeah, I know about that. I met Brittany, actually. Cool person. I met her at the last premiere party. She did a really cool dance routine with Hannah, Big D, Jam Jam from Survivor, a bunch of that. I can't even imagine dedicating my life to stalking people from a reality TV show for content. I'm right there with you, Cass Wash. I'm right there with you. I don't care what their family members are doing. Unless it's something that they're doing that's like positive, uplifting for the community or something that's a specific reason for me to follow them, I'm not going to follow them just so that I can have content. And then when you think about it, the season's on for 3 months and off for 9 months. So you have to do that for 9 months. Bait people into debating with you and fighting with you, following and stalking pages of family members. And it's like, it's just not for me. It's just not for me. Yeah, the veto ceremony is Saturday, and her name is Brittany D'Angelo. Oh, last season. Oh, her brother was into something too? Her brother was in this? I didn't know that. I mean, I wouldn't have known that, to be honest. And Vito meeting Monday. I get so tired of Jag talking strategy. So what happens with Jag, especially when he's talking to Cam, Cam will state a strong point to him and he'll be like, yeah, 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 yeah. He's not saying anything else. Yeah, 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 yeah. So then as soon as Cam leaves the room, he'll have a person to talk to, Bowie or Matt, and he'll be like, well, this is what Cam wants, and this is how we're going to talk him out of it. Jag knows what he wants. I used to feel like, I guess this is one thing I can give Jag credit for in the past couple of weeks. I thought that Jag was easily able to be manipulated, and I think that that might have been the case earlier on. But now I feel like Jag feels like he has his teeth in the game and that he's kind of running the game in some sorts. So I feel like now when Jag is strongly told to do something, he'll talk to his people and find a way out of it. No, he's not going to strongly tell you, no, I don't want to do that. But his version is to say, well, let's consider all the possibilities from doing that. We can engage and entertain that conversation. So what happens if we put Corey up this week? So we put Corey up, hypothetically, and then, so it's Corey sitting on the block next to Felicia. We take Sari down. So it's Corey next to Felicia. So that pisses off America. And then we go into next week and we have to think long game. And if we're thinking long game, then America's in the group and she's pissed off at us. And then America potentially works with Blue, and then she goes over to Sari because she's not going to want to go with us because we took her number one out, blah, 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 blah. And he just keeps talking and 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 talking until eventually people just end up doing what he wants. What is 1984? I don't know what that is. That's a book. Matt didn't like the fact that Bowie put up Sari. Yeah, he was trying to campaign against Sari going up. I think that he wanted Felicia and Blue, but he knew that was a possibility. I agree. Jag is sitting really pretty, I'm sure. He's come a long way from being the target in the early weeks. Jag talking like Jag has my head spinning. I would respect Jag more if when somebody presented something to him that he doesn't want to do, he was just like, no, I don't want to do that. Instead of spinning us in every circle, Jag starts talking like Corey when he doesn't want to do something. Oh, yes, I do know the book 1984. I mean, I read that a minute ago. Yeah. Yeah, I read that book a long time ago. So it wasn't active in my mind like that. Yeah, y'all. So appreciate y'all. Yeah, I mean, I know that a portion of this was dedicated to other topics, but I mean, y'all always mention other channels. And you might have noticed that some of those channels, I'll be like, yes, shout out to that channel. Some of the channels, I'm like, I will not reference that channel. Some channels will tell you don't reference any channel, but I'm not like that. Unless I know that your channel is specifically a hater channel that hates my channel openly like that, that's the only way I'll be like, no, that's not something I'm going to talk about. But aside from that, I show love to the channels that have even never heard of me. I'll still reference those channels. I'm not going to sit there and be like, yo, I'm promoting this. Go hop over there. But if you guys mention them, that's different. I'm definitely going out. Y'all are halfway between telling me when do I sleep and being like, please don't sleep. Stay on here. Bowie HOH equals we talk about other things. And it's not even really her HOH. I mean, she's not doing her own thing. In a sense, she is, but in a sense, she's not. She's like, how can I piss off the least amount of people? I can't believe how Jag and Matt were ready to have Cam be the target soon. I know. That's crazy. That is so crazy. Appreciate that, Melanie. What do you even talk about with a Bowie HOH? We talk about the weather. We talk about sports. We talk about pop culture, music, you know? Because with Bowie as HOH.
What sense does that make? The math is not mathing.
The math is not mathing. I'm upset. I'm upset. I am upset. Thank you, Mimi, for bringing us home. And I will definitely be back on tomorrow. I don't know if it'll be right after the Noms. I don't know if I'm coming on tomorrow morning. Tomorrow is kind of a surprisingly busy day for me for a Saturday. But I will keep you guys updated on what I'm doing via my community posts. Tomorrow is not a streak ending day. I will tell you guys in advance. Probably late October. Yeah, probably late October. I'm not gonna have there's 2 days in late October that I'm probably gonna have a hard time doing a live like this where I sit down for 40 minutes, 50 minutes. But I'm still gonna do lives those days. They're just gonna be short ones just to keep my streak going. But I'll be back to regular scheduled programming. I'm already thinking about that in advance. That's about 2 weeks before the Big Brother season ends. But I still have intent to go on at least once per day for the 100 days. Today is day 67, technically 68, because I went live for Big Brother the day before Big Brother started at the karaoke party they had. I reached out to Izzy. I don't know if I'm going to get a response, but Izzy told me to reach out to her and then get the email address for CBS, which is I'm assuming the email address that I already have because I've reached out to multiple CBS cast who gave it to me. And I have reached out to CBS to try to secure some interviews, and they have not responded to me. So if you don't see any interviews from this cast from on my page, it's not for a lack of effort for me. It's because I'm being blocked by CBS. And I know that saying that all the time probably does not help my case, but at this point, I don't care. There's a lot of red tape getting interviews from Big Brother cast. It's not to say it's impossible. I've done it. I mean, I got 2 interviews, but those interviews were for people that, well, Turner interview is not 2 years off the show. He's 1 year off the show. Alyssa and Hannah were 2 years off the show. I didn't go through any red tape getting their interviews. I don't know. I can't really. Let's just say that the math is not mathing when it comes to me trying to figure that out.
What sense does that make? The math is not mathing.
So let's just say I don't hold my breath on getting approved for those interviews. I just have intent on keeping my page going. And if an interview happens to throw itself my way, I'll take it. And if it doesn't, I will keep going because I have built my audience without those interviews, brick by brick on my own. When I started this page for my other page, Music and Mental Health, and I started covering Big Brother, last August. I didn't have an interview. August, September, October, November, December. That's 5 months. I built up 2,000 subscribers with no interviews. I got my first interview with Alyssa Lopez, January of the next year, which was this year, 2023. 100 and something people viewed that interview. So it wasn't like some huge channel booster where so many people followed me and so many people watched that. So I still consider this mostly off of my own merits. The only person out of all these interviews that I've done that was highly viewed was Wes Bergman. Partially because it was Wes, partially because he shared it, and partially because I shared it. I shared it on Facebook, Reddit, Twitter. I shared it everywhere. And because it's Wes, like I said, Wes has a lot of fans. But aside from that, this is 90% me. I almost would argue that the interviews that I do are for hobby. Because 100 of you will watch them and say, you do great interviews, but it's not like they're being promoted on some grand scale and they're getting 20,000 views, 10,000 views. You know, to spend the amount of hours that I spend putting those interviews together, watching their shows, making all these interview questions and practicing and all that, to get like 100 views, it's not really a lot. So if it wasn't something that I just enjoy doing, mathematically, it wouldn't even make sense for me to do them as of now. On this season, oh, that's a hard question. I would like to see Izzy return. I might like to see Jared return, to be honest. And they both said they would like to return. I would like to see. I kind of want to see Kirsten return, but I don't know if she'd get a fair shake. Heisem, I would like to see Heisem return. Basically, a lot of the people that are out right now, funny enough. I don't think out of anybody who's there right now, I would want to see any of them return, out of anyone who's currently in the house. But several of the people who are out of the house right now, I would love to see them return. I'll never get tired of that. The math is not mathing. I was going to retire it, but y'all asked me not to retire it. So, Ma, since Lisa's not here to tell me, you just said you were leaving, you're supposed to be the next person who does that. Mark says he's leaving. Also, Mark doesn't leave. I did it for you. So behind, I'm traveling for a family wedding trip and a dying stepdad. I'm sorry about that. I haven't had a chance to watch anything, it seems. I just saw part. I'm deeply sorry. I want to see. I know. I would want to see Kirsten. I would want to see Riley. I would want to see Heisam. I would want to see Izzy. I'd want to see Jared. I would want to see who else? Who else? Red. I'd even like to see Red at this point. They voted out the entertaining ones early. They did. There are 2 Melanie M's. Hold on a minute. Oh, there was a Melanie in here earlier that had a different profile pic, and I actually thought that was you, Melanie Murray. Because I didn't see. I thought you had changed your profile pic. That's funny. I didn't even realize it was 2 of y'all. Yeah, but are you trying to say I'm petty? Are you trying to say I am petty? Thanks for your sympathy. Life is hard. I was actually just speaking to somebody. Well, not speaking to somebody, but I was communicating with somebody before I got on this live who lost somebody close to them not too long ago. And again, obviously, y'all know that I relate. I come on here every day. Some days it's heavier than others. Some days I'm like, there was a day or two when I was covering this where I was like, man, the way that I feel about my dad like outweighs this. I don't care about this at this moment. But fortunately, this kind of drew me out of that. And I said, even if I might not have my usual energy today, or even if I don't feel supremely or extremely motivated to do it, I think that it helps bring me out of myself. And that's something that I need, because before the Big Brother season started, I was isolating quite a bit. Yeah, we have multiple Melanies, but this is the first one that has multiple first name and the first letter of the last name. We have 3 Tiffany's. We have 2 Casses. Can't convince me Bowie wasn't casted to be Boot first. So many people with the same names. There was even a Mama who showed up on here on Monday. I'm not even safe from the clones. Well, you're a celebrity, that's why. Celebrities always get cloned. I wonder if they purposely cast first Boots. I mean, they cast people for a reason. They can't necessarily cast someone and say this person is definitely going to be the first one Boot. I don't think. But I do think that they cast people and kind of assume this one's not going to be on here very long. This one is probably going to partner with this one. Clearly, I think that they casted Corey and Izzy on a season with Jared and Sari because of the potential, or I think it's even a probability that they already knew that Izzy knew who Jared was before they cast her. I need to find the boot list I made on July 31st. Oh, I also made a prediction thread. And did I actually predict them in order though? I don't know if I predicted them in order, but I actually had certain predictions of certain cast members, of all the cast members. Not even, I don't think I ranked them, but I think I predicted how well they would do. I want to find it. I'm going to find it when I get off here so that you guys can see how close my predictions were. My Kirsten one was spot on. Spot on. I said that because of Taylor winning last year, they were going to instantly view her as a threat, and she was going to have a harder time making it through than Taylor. It's a long video. It was one of the longest videos that I had done. I think that I started about 7 Eastern or so, and then I got the call from my mom like after 10 Eastern, so like PM. So this was in the evening, and I left the live and I went over to the hospital. I said that he was transferred to another hospital that was like an hour to an hour and a half away. And I asked my mom, does she need me? And she said, you have work the next day. So no, stay home. I'll call you if anything happens. And it was hard because I didn't know if he was going to make it through the night. Because when I saw him, his eyes were open, but he had this blank look on his face. He had a breathing tube in his nose, and it was just hard to watch. And I came back and I was like, I'm just going to go sleep, but I could not sleep because the house was empty. My mom wasn't home. He was being transferred to this other hospital that has better care, I guess. So I hopped back on here, and there was a lot of people on. And a lot of people were, giving me condolences and telling me to keep going and keep pushing. And I needed that. That's a rarity for me, Melanie. Hey, Melanie. And I actually know another Melanie M outside of YouTube. How long do they have to cast before the show? Well, usually they'll put out a casting call like for the show starting in August. I think about 3 months or so. Yeah, that matches my timeline. Like if they did that until May, I see. It was a preseason, so Sari isn't on my prediction. She's not on mine either, of course, because we didn't know she was going to be there. Yes, I don't get that much. I'm from Nashville originally. I'm in Texas. You really think I'm a celebrity? Well, with your 362 subs, you have a large percentage of your subs that came on my channel and said, I'm here because I know Ma. So, yeah, that's why you haven't seen it, Melanie. I have a channel. Hold on a minute. If any of you are interested in joining that channel, but just to let you know, I don't cover that Big Brother. I don't cover Big Brother on that channel anymore. So, for the most part, so you'll see more like mental health related topics on there. Actually, I can just type it in here. I don't even have to do all that. Give me a second. Let's see if that went through. I'm in Texas now. Music and mental health, yes. I really hope I won't have to go through that a long time. All M&Ms. Have you heard of Melanie Martinez? She's a singer. No, I haven't. That's so cool. I'm in Forney, not too far from Tyler. Isn't that ironic? Okay. Oh, look at me spelling this wrong. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to have to do this the old-fashioned way. Oh, I have 677 subscribers now. That's what's up. Soon I'm going to be hitting 700 subscribers to my channel. I got 28 people watching. Let's see. Hopefully this works. Oh, we got 26 likes. I didn't even tell you guys to get the likes up, but I have 28 viewers and 26 likes. Although there's still 2 people who have not made the likes match. So you did an excellent job. Thank you. But still, I have a reason to play this.
What sense does that make? The math is not mathing.
Those 2 who have not hit the like button, please make the math. Definitely want to support you. Thank you, Melanie. Appreciate that. Follow Mark's Discord. We're trying to make the Discord lit. Right now, all we have is Ma. We have a celebrity entry in there, but aside from him, we need more people. I mean, we have more than Ma. Let me not say we just have Ma, but I did like it because I majored in psychology. Oh, that's what's up. So I did not major in psychology. I was a business. I took business administration in school. That's where I got my degree. Because of my own mental health issues, I ended up becoming a peer counselor. Yeah, I know I put a T at the end. That's why I had to redo it. Math isn't mathing. As soon as you played that, our viewership count went back down to 26. You scared them away. This is actually less than usual, but I assume that it's because I got on here so late. I still don't understand how you have so much time for other channels. I don't. If you look at that page, I'm trying to do as much as I can for that page to keep it active and to keep my people from that page engaged. But I already knew that when the Big Brother season starts, 90% of my content was going to go here. 90% of my attention was going to be Big Brother. People are like, you should cover this, 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 and this. And I'm like, I'm sorry, y'all. I can't cover all those other shows consistently until the Big Brother season is over. For instance, when the challenge starts on October 25, there will be 2 weeks left in the Big Brother season. So I can cover those 2 weeks. I can cover those 2 weeks of the challenge. But then when Big Brother ends, it's much easier to cover other shows because there's no live feeds. So the challenge is airing once a week. I only have to cover it once a week. Survivor is airing once a week. I cover it once a week. Big Brother is on every day because of live feeds. So Big Brother is the hardest show to cover, the most work. It's like you, me, Betty, Miss Nappy Kid, and sometimes Shanna. I think there's one or two other people, but those are probably the most consistent. You forgot Ed. Pretty sure Ed's on there. What is Discord? I keep hearing about it on a lot of channels. It's like a Ma can explain it better than me. Please do that, Ma. Oh, you already did. You're ahead of the game. Not a celebrity. I studied it because of my personal history. And I learned in my first job where I was working with psychologists and psychiatrists that that's the case for most people. Either they have a personal connection or like a personal thing where they had their own struggles, or they might have had like a family member who had something that they were trying to figure out. They were trying to understand them, and it led them to the field of study. But there's very few people who become or study psychology or become psychologists without some kind of a personal reason for that. I mean, sometimes they do, but I can only go off of all the many, many people that I've asked. Come on now, Betty. If I'm considered a celebrity, you should be too. I mean, have you guys seen anyone else come on my channel and say, I came here because of X? I have maybe seen that once or twice, but I've seen that probably at least 5 or 6 different people with Ma. One time it was like 3 of them on one live. That was just the other day when Patty hopped on. I have a classmate who lost his dad 2 years ago. I wanted to study psych. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I had people in my family that I lost to substance abuse disorder and depression. That's not why I studied psych. It was for my own personal mental health issues, but I can understand that. I went to a 4-year college. I just did a bachelor's degree. I didn't have a desire to pursue a master's or anything further. I mean, I've still thought about it, but you know. What is 2006 to 2011? What happened 2006 to 2011? I understand. Mental health in my family was not something that was ever discussed until I kind of forced the discussion because of what was happening with me. And not meaning that I forced people to talk about it with me, but I was going through it. So they had to talk about it to understand. There was no avoiding it at that point. Did I say that before? Because that was a eerily, strangely, almost accurate guess. Not quite, but very close. I started college in 2005. My dad had a mental health issues to overcome. So did I. The funny thing is, I think that my dad had mental health issues. Well, not the same kind of mental health issues as mine. I think that he had a pretty decent amount of clinical depression, but he's part of the tough it out era. So he would never go get a diagnosis for that. But I'm pretty sure if he went to a psychotherapist or an LCSW, they would definitely give him that diagnosis. I didn't ever get my master's. I've thought about it so much, but then I'm like, what am I going to do with that? I don't really want to be a clinician. So I feel like I can do basically everything that I want to do within the field with my peer counseling certification. I don't diagnose anybody, even though I do have some background knowledge of studying these things, but not studying in college. Just I've read a lot of books, and you know, I've gotten a lot of information from the many years that I did therapy, received therapy, I'm saying. I could be a therapist after 10 years of personal therapy. Mental health in general hasn't been openly discussed until recently. Tell me about it. When I first got my diagnosis, it was 2011. 2011, I got a general anxiety disorder diagnosis. At that time, that was the very first one I ever received. And it was very taboo even then. Even though 12 years doesn't seem like that long ago, it was extremely taboo. You went to college when I was like 2 months old. When you said what, you were born in 05? When were you 2 months old? I started college in, I think, July of 05. Yeah, Ma is young. Ma is a youngin'. My program was going to be 2 years if I had gotten my master's in business administration. But again, I did not see its necessity, and I'm actually glad that I didn't do that, to be honest with you. Well, I feel young. Time goes by slow for me. Y'all say time flies by. It's because of your age. Oh, you weren't even born, Ma, because I started in like July of 05. I finished high school in May of 05, and I started college. Well, I guess you could technically say I started in August. Like the full school year started in August, but I started taking summer courses in July for the first year that I was in college. And at that time, I was in college for computer science. Go figure. I just didn't know. Like, I was like, oh, I'm pretty good with computers. I like computers. So I'm going to do that. And then the first year, I was like, I'm terrible at computer science. So I got to jump out. I left computer science. I jumped into nutrition. I did nutrition for probably 1 semester. And then from nutrition, I switched to business. And then at a certain point, I was like, I just got to stick with something because I'm not trying to be in college forever. Psychology is a better learned. I agree. I've had like very knowledgeable psychologists tell me things in sessions where I'm like, break that down in a way that I can understand it and apply it to my life. Because I can read what you just said in a book. I was born in June. June is before July. My sons were born in, I could say that you said you were 2 months old and you were 1 month old, if we want to play that game. My sons were born in 85 and 91. Oh, so I'm right in the middle, 87. I started college in like 2008. I see. My mom is 9 years older than your son. I started college in 2023. He does like hanging out with us old folks for sure. How we start talking about school. That happens. Blame Ma for that. Well, you ain't gonna learn by reading. You learn from seeing other people. You don't get experiences from a book. Exactly. Well, I assumed you started in August of 05, not July. Speaking of which, I don't know if I should re-upload this on this page, but I did. How many of you, first of all, how many of you have watched Summer House, which is a reality TV show that is on the Bravo network? If you have, I interviewed a therapist that gave therapy to some of the contestants that were on that show. We talked about a lot of good things. I think that I should re-upload that onto this channel at some point. Because I think it was a good interview, but more people might watch it on here than over there, despite the fact that I have more subscribers over there. But the thing about my subscribers there is that I think plenty of my subscribers over there have not returned to the page since last year. So I think that's why I get so much more engagement on this channel that has 1/3 of the subscribers versus that. Math was one of my subjects. I don't really know why you said that. I think I am good at math. I don't know why you think so, but maybe I throw out math numbers and I don't even realize it. But yeah. The math is mathing a lot of times for me. Math was one of my good subjects in school. Science was not. Math, if they asked me that question about how many minutes was Jared in the house, I would have a very good ballpark figure within minutes. My dad was a whiz at math, and he taught me all these different math tricks. He was an accountant, so he was extremely good at, way better at math than me. What would that be, 3,600? 3,600, I'm pretty sure. And that's about it. I stayed on here probably an extra 30 minutes this time. Lisa, my official counter of my extra time on here, is not here, but I did time and a half today, overtime. I liked history or PE. And on that note, if I win, one of y'all won't be diddy bopping.
Okay. Well, guess what? If I win, okay. Well, guess what? If I win, somebody ain't diddy bopping.
Right.
Okay. I can tell you that.
I don't know if that played or not. But anyways, I'll talk to y'all later, and I hope you have an amazing night. I can't guarantee what time I'm going to be on tomorrow because I have many things to do, but I will continually update you on my community page. MC maintenance chick told me y'all need at least a 30-minute warning. So I do my best every day to give you guys at minimum a 30-minute warning. And that's it. Gym class was my favorite, y'all. I loved gym class. I can't believe you didn't like gym class, Ma. If that was good for you, I hope that was good. If so, congratulations. I guess my computer lags because it didn't play for me. Bad timing for sure. Good night. Yeah, this time it wasn't you with the bad luck. Trisha, because I always do this unless I have a specific reason to leave, you get an extra 5 minutes because you jumped on here, and I feel bad about leaving you as soon as you jump on because I almost want to say that the same thing happened with you the other day. So I'm going to be on here for another 5 minutes just because Trisha hopped on here. Trisha is one of my consistent supporters. But you better get in your comments in the chat real fast because I have my outro ready to play right now. I'm an introvert and I hate extra exercise. I'm an introvert too, believe it or not. Mark is an introvert. I do more because of this channel. If I didn't have this channel, all these different things you see me going to, I would sit right in my house and just watch and talk to my TV like I used to. Meeting Rob as a podcast and going out to meet Izzy and Survivor players and Taylor, Joseph, and all these different people is because of this page. I'm drained when I leave those things. My social battery goes from 100 to 0, and then I have to recharge. Vito is usually early afternoon. Thanks, Trisha. You say. Yeah, join my Discord. Let me see here. Let me see if I have my Discord link to post here. Okay, so I posted my Discord link, unpinning the last message. I pinned my Discord link. When I hop off of YouTube, I hop right onto Discord usually, at least for a few minutes. And the Discord is a way for me to keep communicating with y'all without having to be on here and be live. Hurry up and keep the chat rolling. The squeeze Mark out for another hour. I just wanted to say hi, not much. Come on, Trisha. Do you think of me as an introvert or an extrovert now? Just out of curiosity. Because a lot of people I tell that I'm an introvert and they're like, you don't present like one. And I'm like, how many scenarios have you seen me in? There's many scenarios that I present like introvert. Most introverts don't always isolate ourselves. We just hate when it gets too busy. I'm best served in smaller settings. Like that Big Brother premiere party, I was lost in the sauce because it was full. The whole building was full to capacity. And in order to get to the TV stars, you had to push through big crowds, and it was just a lot for me. So I started out in the middle of the big crowd where I was shoulder to shoulder with everybody. Eventually I was like, I can't do this. So I left the crowd and came by the door where nobody was at the door, but it was big and empty and quiet, and ordered some food. And I was sitting there by myself eating my food. And funny enough, the TV people, I guess they got tired of being in that hot, crowded bar, and they came out to sit where I was sitting. So I actually got to speak to most of them where I was. I'm like, oh, Jasmine's by herself over here. Amira's by herself over here. This person's by themselves over here. And that's how I spoke to a lot of them, away from the crowd. I'm a what is it called? Ambivert, I guess you could say. I'm ambivert. Yeah, I think I heard ambivert was the term. Sometimes I can be introverted and sometimes I can be extroverted. I think the more that I've gone out and done more things and been around more people, I'm not as much as I used to be, but it's still my natural tendency, ambivert. Yeah, agreed. You definitely still strike me as an introvert because you like me. You like to meet people. Yeah, I'm definitely not comfortable or huge on big crowds. Me too. Small groups are by myself. I'm most comfortable. All right, y'all. So I got that extra 5 minutes in there. Shout out to Trisha, and we're gonna talk tomorrow.
So you literally were one of my very first followers. And then when you followed me and I, followed back, I was like, this dude is cool. Like,
if they say talk to your manager, you just say, you know what, talk to the hand. You don't need to be on my podcast. But, yeah, dude. Yeah, you do a great job.
Thank you. I always get a kick out of talking with you on Patreon. You have a really good, view on everything.
That wasn't planned.
You know what?
Thank
But
you.
I like this Canadian.
Well,
I like this one.
well, thank you.